Good evening, everyone. Coming up right now is the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be on in just a moment. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. We thank God for those of you who have tuned in and are tuning in on various platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter TV, and of course, listening to us across the airwaves live on the legendary WIGO Pace Setter 1570 AM. Big shout out to our man behind the glass, our program director, Mr. Kevin Buchanan. We appreciate him. Okay, guys, remember, let's do a little housekeeping. Number one, you want to follow our show and follow me. Follow the show at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. Follow me personally at Minister J Sim. We'd love to have you be a part of the broadcast and part of what we do on social media. Also, if you got a great sports story, hit me up on email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or you can also just give me a call, 678-410-9833. All right, guys, anytime we do this sports show, we bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply call her the queen. Miss Tree Dolman is back in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? There's our backdrop. Bam! There we go. Yeah, so once again, another weekend packed with great stuff going on in the world of sports.
Yes, definitely was.
Big stuff.
Interesting, yes.
Very interesting is right. Matter of fact, let's go to the topics here today. We're going to talk about the Hawks going 2-2 on a road trip. John Collins has looked pretty good. How are they keeping involved when Clint returns? We'll give a little shout out to the Georgia High School Football All-Stars. And then we'll shift over, of course, to some college football. Talk about Georgia winning back-to-back college football championships. And the question is, are they the best college football playoff team ever? Talk a little NFL. Will Aaron Rodgers retire? And then we'll talk about some key first-round games. Dallas against Tampa Bay, Giants against the Vikings, Bills against the Dolphins, and Bengals against the Ravens. And, of course, we end, as we always do, talking the Falcons, trying to find out, hey, did Ritter show you enough to be QB1 for the next few years? And, what should the Falcons do to try to build around him? Now, if they ended the season with a little momentum, they actually won their final 2 games. So we'll talk about all of that and more on the Real Talk Sports Show. Well, we're going to kind of hang out for a little bit. We're still waiting for our champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole, to pop up into the building. Did you do anything special over the weekend, Tree? Anything fun?
Watch sports.
Well, there you go. I mean, there was a lot to watch. Obviously, college football championship game caught everybody's attention, and we'll be talking about that around in the 8:30 segment. Kind of want to get some feedback from people, kind of what they thought about the game, number one, and also what they thought about the idea of the Bulldogs maybe being the next best thing in college football. I don't know if you got a chance to see the social media kind of meme of David Pollock, a former UGA player who was obviously commentating the game along with guest host, Mr. Nick Saban. And he kind of mentioned like the dogs have been kind of the talk of college football the last couple of years. And when I'm saying Saban cut that look that your parents look at you when you said something out of school, that, I mean, they slowed it down so much. He's giving like what the?
No, I have not seen that, but I would love to.
Yeah, you got to see. I mean, Saban, he stopped talking. He looked like really mad. He's like, and y'all forgot? I mean, it was a couple of years ago. We took y'all down for the national championship. What are you talking about? So anyway, yeah, just interesting stuff. I mean, it could be a change in their guard, and hopefully we'll get some former dogs to come on and talk about what they think about what's happening with with the dogs. Are they the next best thing? Are they going to be the new quote unquote dynasty? So we're going to ask all you guys about that, and I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to pop up for those of you who are watching. I'm going to go ahead and pop in the invite if you actually want to come on the show. We're going to let you guys come on. You don't have to put your picture on. I know some of y'all are in disrepair, so just use your avatar, and we're going to use that like a phone call. So you can jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and put the invite up on social media and everywhere you guys can see it. Remember, please use decorum. I'm going to tell you the same thing we do on the radio station. If you come on and we bring you on, please act like you got some sense. If you come on and say anything out of school or you use bad language, we'll immediately evict you from the studio, and we will probably have you never to return again. So please, ma'am, please, sir, here it is. It's going to pop up here on social media. And there's your link. Copy and paste that link. And I'll ask you one more thing. If you are bold and brave enough to come on, please, if you could, probably use a headset and turn your phone landscape. I don't want to see that black border around your face or around your avatar. So please, boop, like this, so we can see you very, very well. If you could, please. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to talk a little Hawks here. What do you think about the Hawks? I think they probably saved Nate's job by going 2-2. What do you think about that West Coast road trip for the Hawks?
It was a tough road trip, but I like the way they played. I
Right.
understand that they're not going to win every game. That's highly impossible. But the fact that they were fighting, going into overtime, they weren't giving up. And that's what I like to see. Because when you have games like that, you'll go into overtime, you'll lose some, but then you'll win most of them.
Yeah, they played very, very well. And again, we don't like to see anybody injured, but big shout out to them finally rediscovering John Collins. It's amazing what happens when a guy gets the ball. We'll take a look at his last 5 games here, and we're seeing his last 5 games the kind of numbers you normally expect to see from John Collins. This is from Fox Sports. Last 5 games kind of look like this. We're looking at starting with the Laker game. Actually, I guess it's maybe 6 games, no 5 games. Laker game here at home. He played a total of 23 minutes, only have 7 points in that game. But after that, Golden State, huge in that game, 25 points, played 39 minutes, 9 of 17 from the floor, 13 rebounds, and 2 block shots. Followed that up against Sacramento, another big game, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of 11 from the floor, and 2 more blocks in that game. Also, at the Lakers on the road, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. And then last night against the Clippers, only 13 points, but again, good crisp shooting, 6 of 10 from the floor, 9 rebounds. And once again, John Collins showing that he's a rim protector with 3 block shots on defense. So, that's kind of the John Collins we're used to seeing, back in the day.
Well, I told you that he was going to come back. And when you're coming back from an injury, a lot of times you don't just come right back playing the way that you played. It takes time to get back into the rhythm. And so I think that he's getting back into the rhythm. And John Collins is John Collins, and he will always be John Collins.
Truly that. Yeah, I think they're going to have to find a way when Clint gets back to utilize him more in the way that they utilized him before Clint came on board. So I think they're gonna have to go to him more on the inside. They
Yeah.
have to look more in those pick and rolls, more the alley oops. And even if it means, now I'm gonna say something kind of a little novel, even if it means that they kind of split it up and maybe play John more with DeJounte Murray, possibly, kind of break up, not maybe play DeJounte and Trey as much and kind of mix it up so John can get more touches because every kind of stat wonk and stuff that they talk about, John is better when they have some type of, I think it's called a 20% usage. When he does that, not only the Hawks win more games, but he plays better. So they're gonna have to find a way to get in the ball. I think that if I'm looking here at these stats, it looks like the magic number for John is somewhere between the minimum of around 12 touches. When he gets a minimum around 12 to 13 touches, he's usually going to give you that point range in around between 14 to 20 points. He's going to get you 8, 9, 10 rebounds. I just think they're going to need to find a way to get him more touches.
Yeah, he definitely needs more touches.
Yeah, because because to me, that's really the key to the Hawks being consistently a winning team. They have to get a consistent play out of John Collins. And the only way you do that, you gotta get the guy the ball. I mean, you know how it is. You're a low post player, man. You're a big, you gotta let the big dogs eat.
Yes, you do.
You got to kind of get them started, let them kind of do what they need to do, and get them out there. So hopefully the Hawks will be able to find a way. Nate, I think, is going to have to kind of maybe change the way he approaches things, and get John more involved. So you hopefully be able to do that as time goes on. All right, guys. Like I say again, when we bring on this show, we start it up, crank it up. We have a beauty queen, and we also have a champion, not a one but two-time Super Bowl champion, and he's a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. An all-around nice guy. Mr. Tyrone Poole, number 38, is back in the building. What's going on, sir?
All right, how we doing, good people? How you doing, Tree? How you doing, Jonathan, and everybody listening and those watching?
Oh, let's check out the gear. He's got the official ATL hat on, and he's representing his high school. LaGrange football is in the building. Yes, sir.
There you go.
And got the trophies too, and all the helmets. Everything is rocking and rolling. But I got the ATL hat, and of course, again, representing his high school football, LaGrange High School. We're going to talk about football, high school football. Give some guys some shout outs in the beginning part of the second segment. All right, Tyrone, I don't know if you got a chance to listen in as you were getting set. We're talking about the Hawks, the improved play by Mr. John Collins, and how the Hawks need to find a way to utilize him. Do you think that is correct, or what do you think the Hawks need to do to try to at least continue the play they had on the West Coast, which is decent? They were 500, and that's kind of what you want to do when you go out on the West Coast if you're an East Coast team.
Well, at the end of the day, we all know team sports, and it's not about one person. But at the end of the day, you want to go with the hottest hand. But basketball is one of those sports where I think one person just can't do it by themselves, but you do want to keep that hot hand, like I said, going. But I think if the Hawks, at the end of the day, what I would want them to do, and I hope they're thinking the same way. I know Coach Nate is thinking the same way. The players are thinking the same way. They want to win a championship. And I don't know not one team in any sport that has won a championship with one player. So, yes, I understand that John may have a hot hand now, and hopefully he'll keep that hot hand for a long time. But we all do know this. It's a long season, and his hand may be hot now, but at some point his hand's going to get cold. So that's just how the game is. There were times when I played football, first 3 games, I feel good. And then I hit a cold spell. That don't mean there's anything bad. It's just I'm not producing like I produced in the first 3 games. And then I'll catch it back again. So that's where team comes in. So, hey, whatever we got to do to keep John going, but get everybody else involved, because at the end of the day, we're trying to win a championship.
No doubt. Like I said, I just think, like I said, about that utilization. I think they need to use him more. It's been shown that when they do get up to a higher percentage, like I said, I think the number is around 20% or 12 to 15 shot attempts. It seems like he gets them what they're looking for. He gets them in that double digit, the mid-teens, and it seems like he gets more engaged even on in getting rebounds as well. Tyrone, I think you have a fan here, Mr. Chris Mock says you are the legend, sir.
Hi, Chris. What's going on, man?
Yes,
Chris, too, so I appreciate you, Chris.
He remembers them days. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, look, I didn't want to. This kind of popped into my inbox. A frequent watcher and listener asked, "Did you guys hear about this?" I had not until they sent me the email. Evidently, there's which we kind of expected, a little bit of pushback out in Colorado. Oh, you know what? Let me hold that right here. I see that we are hard approaching a break. So, guys, just stay tight, hang tight, because we'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. Hey sports fans, tune in for live high school football Friday, 7:30 p.m. on realtalksports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on realtalksports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're back here at the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me is the Queen Tree Dolman, and right below us there, Mr. Tyrone Poole. So, yeah, guys, I got an email from someone actually sent me over something on Yahoo Sports. They're talking about at Colorado, evidently several players, which, again, I think we expected, a little bit unhappy because they're saying that Deion has notified them that he will not be honoring their scholarships going forward. First of all, I'll ask both of you, have you guys heard anything about that? Have you seen that article? Ms. Tree, I'll ask you first. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Tyrone, how about you there, kind sir?
Well, I've heard the interview or the speech that Deion did. So basically, people writing off of that, but have not heard of this particular player's speak. But I will say this: any college scholarship is really a year-to-year scholarship. And just like Deion said, and I believe he mentioned this, I don't want to quote him incorrectly, but, these boys got to grow up. They got to grow up. Basically, it's a job now. It's a job. And just like any of us, we got a job. If they don't like our performance, they take it away. And like I said, these collegiate scholarships, you're not guaranteed 4 years. You got to come back almost every year and show that you earn your scholarship. And so, again, it is what it is. And if you're worth your salt, you're not worried about nothing. The cream always rises to the top from what I've been told when it's stirred. But then some players, when they know they're not that salt, they're not that cream, when they're stirred, they can't stand the heat. So they get out the kitchen. And then while they're getting out the kitchen, they make excuses. They try to burn down the kitchen, so to speak, as they leave. So sometimes you got to look at guys' emotions, man, and how they'll take something that was really mild, but they'll blow it up to make it look big. So, they leave their little print in the kitchen as they leave out because they know they're gone.
Hey, Trey, I don't think I'm going to be cooking with Tyrone. Yeah, I got to watch it. He said, burn the kitchen down on your way out. I'm going to just read a little. I'm just going to read a little. Say it again.
I said, that's what people do when they get mad. I heard a wise man say this. He says, anytime something becomes an ex-spouse, ex-employee, ex-friend, whatever that ex is detaching itself away from, that becomes on the hit list. Think about it. Any type of relationship that somebody had with somebody else, once they know that relationship is over, oh man, that person's on the hit list. They talk about every negative thing they can about that person. Think about it. So, college kids do it too.
Well, fortunately, I'm a novice when it comes to those things, and so I don't have much to say on that to you or Nate. But yeah, I'm going to read a quick little part of it here, and it is kind of really to some degree what you expect. This is from Black Enterprise Magazine, asking the questions. 13 University of Colorado Boulder football players look for other schools after Deion Sanders hired. He did mention that, said hiring former Jackson State University football coach Deion Sanders is supposed to be good news for the University of Colorado football team, but not for 13 students. At least 13 students from the class of 2013 had their scholarships revoked after Sanders was hired. At the press conference where he announced his hiring, the head coach told the players in attendance that some of them should enter the transfer portal because he was bringing players with him. Sanders has also already announced that he was bringing his son, Shadur Sanders, as the starting quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, it is. This is how the media works, man. A lot of it is clickbait. They want you to jump on here and chop this up. And certainly they got my friend's attention. She was feeling some kind of way when she saw the original broadcast where he kind of said what he said, like, hey, y'all, some of y'all about to. So Anyway, so you're saying much ado about nothing, Tyrone Tree. Do you kind of agree with that same thing? This is college sports, it's hardcore, and that's what happens.
Well, I'm happy to hear that it's only 13 players. When you said it, I was thinking it was pretty much the whole team that he was not renewing their scholarships. And the reason I was chuckling is because when it happened with, I believe it was the Grambling volleyball team, when the coach came in and she got rid of all of her scholarships for the team and got a new team, everybody was in an uproar. Oh my goodness, how can she keep in and take all these scholarships, not renew these scholarships? She's horrible. This is not good. But then when it's football, it's no problem. They get some tough skin. That's just what happens. So I just think that's funny how it's so different when it comes to different sports. And these girls now, what are they going to do? They can't even, go and play volleyball in college and blase. So I just think that's hilarious with the divide. But hearing that it's 13 players, I still think it's horrible. I mean, I get that he probably looked at film, or I don't know if it was just the fact maybe they were always coming late or things of that nature, because you can't really base them off of their performance for you when you're the new coach. You have to see how they perform under your coaching regimen, unless, again, these were just 13 players that just weren't with the program, just doing what they wanted to do, thinking, that, hey, it's my world and rules don't apply to me. I get that. But you have to come in and make changes. I do get that as well. That's a part of the job. I mean, their football team was horrible looking at the record. And we know that Deion Sanders isn't going for that. They didn't hire him for that. They hired him for greatness. They hired him to get the team better and to hopefully vie for a championship and to do great things with the school. So I do understand that you do have to let people go in order to do that.
I'm going to tell you what I think happened. This is what I think happened. All right. Once Deion understood that he was going to Colorado, and this is not just this Colorado situation here. This is a principle. Even in corporate America. If I just got hired, taken away from one company where I was a CEO, going to another company, first thing I want to know, whoever is there that is my contact person, I want to ask them, who are the people that I need to watch out for? Who are the people that are really not pulling their weight around here? Those are going to be the first one to go. Without me even showing up, without me even letting them work on the first hour of my watch, I already got the scoop on them. So I think what happened is Deion, hey, what about the roster? Who are the dogs here? Who on this roster is a dog? Well, he's a dog. He's a dog. This guy right here, we don't know about him. All right, put him over there. All right, who else? Is his buddy? All right, put him over there. So it makes it easy. Okay, so I don't need to go on the first day of practice with you. You already showed the previous people that were there who you are. So you're saving me time to even weed out the bad. Or he probably looked at film. Give me some game film. Let me look at last year's game. Okay. That dude there, he got to go. Look at him. See how he blocking? So really, I don't need to go back to count with you because you got enough game footage that I can see who you are. Just look at the game footage of the Georgia Bulldogs. We know who they are. I ain't even got to play against Georgia. I know I know what they're going to do. So I think it's probably a situation like that where he already had contact with people. Tell me about everybody on this roster. Who needs to go? Because we're trying to win around here. We need dogs.
That's true, but I will say that we all know that coaching makes a difference. When you have great coaches that can bring the best out of players and who are big on discipline, that makes a difference. Obviously, the coaches that they had there weren't doing the right thing. So even to take advice from them, I wouldn't take advice from them. Your coaching style is completely different from my coaching style. So what a player is doing for you doesn't mean they're going to do the same thing for me, because I demand excellence and I make sure that my players give it in every single practice. So, I mean, I see what you're saying with that, but it still isn't the same. Players perform differently for different coaches.
Again, Tree, if I'm trying to run, let's take Dean Pease. All right, I'm going to show us a principle. In order for him to run a 4-3, he got to have certain players. I don't care if you're a guy but if you can't fit the defense, I don't care who you are. You're not going to help us. I need a nose tackle who weighs 300 plus pounds. I don't get this guy. He weighs 250 pounds. He just needs great coaching. I need 300 pounds. He may be a great player, but he can't play well in this system. I need a man-to-man corner. This guy's a zone corner. Well, you can teach him how to play man-to-man. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time. So I understand what you're saying. I definitely agree with what you're saying. But like you said, it's just, if it's a circle and we're trying to fit a square, I don't care how much we try to put effort into that thing. It's a circle. It ain't going to fit into that square.
Well, of course, when we go to social media, our favorite man, Todd, as you can put my shades on, he's going to get right to the point. He said, what Deion saw was a bunch of slow white guys that were 1-11, and he said they got to go. That's always Todd coming right to the TMZ of the world of sports. Listen, at the end of the day, yeah, the team was 1-11. You're going to make some changes. Deion was up front. He said, look, man, a lot of you guys, I'm telling you already, go to the portal. Does this happen a lot in college football? Absolutely. Right or wrong, it happens. And BC warned him. He said, hey, man, a lot of y'all not going to be here next year. And he said, you better go into the portal now. So I guess these guys didn't go to the portal. And so now, unfortunately, they will have to be looking for scholarships elsewhere. Now, I'm making a joke, but at the end of the day, it is kind of hardcore, though, when you're thinking you're going to have your education paid for, and then all of a sudden the next year you got to scramble around. So I got to find someplace else to go. So I will not be in a position where I have to kind of force my parents or whoever to try to pay for this. So again, just hopefully these guys will find it. There's a lot of schools, I guess, that are looking for players, but I'm sure at the end of the day, they will work out fine and dandy.
But like you said, Jonathan, you just hit the nail right on the head yourself. Again, it goes back to my point. If they worth their salt, how many colleges are out there? How many D1, B with BCS, B FBS schools? How many D1 or D2, D3? Again, there's opportunities out there. Just like if you got fired tomorrow from your job, you got to go somewhere else. If you have to move to New York, if selling cars is what you know, I'm pretty sure you ain't gonna sit around Atlanta talking about, man, look here, they did me wrong. You go be like, man, look here, where's my next opportunity? New York, New York, New York. Here we come. So
we know it's not a large percentage of players that can actually play in college. So all of those scholarships are very hard to come by. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going into the transfer portal. Oh, I'll definitely get this position here. It doesn't work like that.
But they're D2. If they D1, then that right there automatically tells me that you could probably go to a D2 and start. So again,
yes, but the scholarships at the D2,
yes.
You and I know that D2 and D3, the chances of full scholarships are not the same as Division I. Division I, they will cover all of your costs, your room and board, food, books. Division II is not the same. We all know that.
Let's tree. I went to a D2. Okay, I went to a D2, and I actually was there at Fort Valley when they brought in some guys from the University of Georgia, and they found money for them boys. So I've been there. I experienced.
For them, but the whole team is not on a full scholarship because they don't have the funds.
The point I'm trying to make, Tree, is if you're a D1 talent, then that means that you were better than probably a D2 athlete. So if you come from a D1 going out to a D2, then you already got an advantage because of skills. So the coach is probably going to bring you in and give you a full scholarship just because you D1. That gives them, again, like I said, I seen it. I went to a D2, and also you can get a full scholarship. I had a full scholarship. So
you can.
Again, the cream rises to the top. If you worth your salt, then you don't have to worry about finding a job. If Jonathan is worth his salt and selling cars, he don't have to go nowhere looking and begging somebody for a job. They're going to be coming to him. Man, come on, we'll take you.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we know the great athletes don't have anything to worry about. We're talking about the guys at Colorado. Obviously, they're not great athletes. They went 1-11. So I'm talking about them. So they're not going to be the ones if they go to a Division II school where they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to find a way and get you a full scholarship because you came from Division I. No, you came from a Division I school that was 1-11. So They're like, we have players here better than you. Like, I'm just saying, let's be realistic. Yes, will the great players always find a spot? Yes, they will. But I just feel bad. That's just the human side of me for these players that have full scholarships at Colorado and now they don't. So my heart just breaks for them. Again, it's probably some of them for things that they've done on their own where they should have done things better and they did not. So that would be their fault. But then what about the ones who just was trying to do everything that they could, but they just don't fit up to Deion's standard?
But it goes back to your point that you said earlier. Okay, I'm gonna bring your words back to you. Coaching. They go somewhere where they fit the system. They're coaching. Okay. Hey, I can't handle the coaching here in Colorado. Okay, that's why the coaching staff got fired, right? So maybe I need to go to North Dakota State. They got a good football program. Maybe I need to go to North Carolina A&T. Maybe I need to go to Appalachian State, Colorado, but I know I can play. So again, if you work your salt, somebody's going to pick you up. Like I said, if Jonathan can sell cars, he don't have to go around holding up a sign and say, hey, I know how to sell cars. He's already established. They're going to go back and look at the numbers. Woo, he sold how many? Oh, he sold a lot of cars.
All right, you know that sound. We have to go take a break. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back we're back in a little while. Don't go anywhere.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show, and we are back here. We have the Queen and we have the champion here. And of course, guys, the biggest thing that went on over the weekend, I'm going to try to see if I can kind of bring it in the right way because it was just big, 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 big. Let's see if I can make it work for us today. We're going to share our screen, and we're going to give a little shout out to Georgia fans with something they're very familiar with, some music that they love. So let's see if I can get it up here and make it do what it do. Okay, here we go.
Champions. That's about the only way you should be playing right about now for them Bulldogs. We are champions, my friend.
Well, TCU fans heard that often as Georgia rolled up 65 points and held the TCU Horned Frogs to 7 points. And we're going to bring a young lady who is a friend of our program. She herself is Lady Dog, a multi-time, I believe, champion there in track and field, also an All-American in track and field, and with a handful of African-American homecoming queens. The one and only Monica Kapler is in the building. MC, what's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah,
Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, there she is. There she is.
Yes, y'all know I'm hyped right about now.
Well, your boys have done it, and they did it back to back. I mean, how does it make you feel as a former Bulldog? And of course, you helped us covering them in the semifinals. And next time they had a chance, or excuse me, the first time they had a chance to go to the finals, you were out the Rose Bowl yourself. So you got to be excited.
Yes, that was so amazing. And now I can cash in my ticket to talk smack for another 12 months. So y'all gonna have to put up with me for a little while longer.
Well, we're going to do it. I mean, when I saw there, it seemed like a lot of former Bulldogs were in the building. I don't know if you saw the meme. I was talking to Tyrone and Tree earlier. David Pollack does the stuff for ESPN. And then, of course, they had a guest analyst, Mr. Nick Saban. And when Pollack started talking about Georgia kind of being the kingpin now, the last 2 years dominating college football, I mean, Nick Saban gave him that look that your mama give you. when like you supposed to be quiet and keep talking. That's how it was. So
Yeah,
it was
you know
kind of
he was
crazy.
sick to his stomach sitting in that chair up there.
Off the chain. Let's go to social media real quick. See what we got. Some comments here. All right. Todd has a question for the panel. Okay. Roll up, slow your roll, buddy. Slow your roll. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give a little housekeeping here. Remember, guys, we start the NFL segment about 8:45. So please, I want no questions about the NFL until about 8:45, and then we'll chop up and talk about the NFL and the Falcons. Right now, we're talking college football, and we're talking about the Georgia Bulldogs. All right. First, you Tree, did you watch the game, and what were your thoughts about the Bulldogs and their dominance?
I did watch the game and I thought they played well. I don't think that, well, I know TCU wasn't ready. I didn't think that they would be ready. And I'm not going to go back to the cheating in the prior game with the referee.
Here we go.
I mean, we can here we go. The facts are the facts. So anyway, I'm happy for Georgia. I love the fact that Georgia did not only win the game, but I love that they put their foot down, they stomped and smashed it and just let everybody know, don't you question us. I love when coach said, we are dogs, we are hunting. No one's hunting us, we're doing the hunting. And he let them know what it was all about, aggressiveness, and that's what they played, aggressive football the entire game. So I am so happy for the Georgia Bulldogs, and congratulations to them. They earned this championship, and to go back-to-back is not easy. And they did that, and they did it well.
Well, unfortunately, your boy Todd going to throw some shade at you. He said, hey, Michigan messed the game up, Tree. They had 2 pick sixes. So, Todd.
We did. No, we did do some bad things. Listen, I'm not taking away from the way that Michigan played. We did not go out and play well. TCU played excellent against us, and they stopped our run. I'm not taking away from that. But we also know the calls that were made. So I keep it real. I'm not saying we lost the game because of those calls. I'm just saying that had those calls not been made, who knows what would have happened. But yes, TCU did play well, and we didn't play great.
Tyrone, your thoughts about the Georgia game. Did you have any idea that they could be even close to that dominant in that game?
Well, first out, again, congratulations to the Bulldogs. It's tough to win championships and not alone, do it back to back. So kudos to them. But, I said to myself, did TCU play their best game, leave their best game against Michigan? Because sometimes you can play your best game before the real game. And I think that what happened to TCU. I think they played their best game and left it on the field with Michigan. And when they got to the Bulldogs, they were on fumes. And Georgia showed them that you don't belong on the field. So that's what you're supposed to do. Now, as a fan, you don't, that's a championship game. It's almost like the Olympics. I don't want to see Usain Bolt beat somebody by 50 yards. Come on, that's not a final. The final should be, that thing should go to the end, the very end. And, I think I turned it off, man, and started looking at SpongeBob or something about,
Wow, he said SpongeBob.
I put the hot wings up, man. I went back to, and I tried to go back and get my money back, man. It's like a Mike Tyson fight, man. I'm like, come on, man. 90 seconds. Come on, it's over already. So.
Yeah, they were looking bad. Monica, what was your thoughts? I'm sure your phone was blowing up during the whole game, texting, all kind of stuff going on. So, yep.
Yes, I was so proud. They came off the bench in the 4th firing on all cylinders. So that just proved that the team's future is already bright, no matter who declares for the NFL draft next. It's like they've got so much to look forward to in the year ahead. I'm just excited about it.
Todd said it got so bad that even the TCU cheerleaders quit. They kind of stopped cheering. They kind of sat down for a second. So,
did you see it was raining on the side of their fans? I mean, that was just the worst ever. I felt bad about that.
The problem is that a lot of teams, the only team that really was able to kind of bear up under their smack talk was Ohio State. There were several teams during the years, Georgia, this and that and the other thing. But Ohio State actually say, you know what, we're tired of hearing this stuff. And they really did bring it to Georgia. And had it not been for a wide left,
Mhm.
It's been a different story.
And for them not calling the targeting that happened, let's not
Yo,
talk about
whoa,
that
wait,
either.
I
whoa.
saw that. I saw that too.
Thank you. And
That was the
Monica,
real
do you
national
agree that that was
championship.
targeting?
I can't. I don't see it enough to call it, so I wouldn't say one way or the other. But it was definitely something to review.
I say it was targeting, and so does mostly everybody else. They even just showed it in slow motion. And I think that the only reason that they did not call it was because of how much time was on the clock. And we all know, yes, they wanted Georgia to win. But at the same token, Ohio State shouldn't have made it that close. I say the same thing. Who knows what would have happened? But there was definitely targeting, and they did not call it. So that also just was disappointing. Let the players play and call the game the right way.
Well, I think that Mr. Harrison made a move that he was trying to catch the ball. He initially did not make a move, and then he kind of say, "Hey, I can catch this," and he got tattooed. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's
but
why I
it's the
looked at it.
way.
Say again.
It's the way he got hit. Like, that's the whole point of them calling targeting, is the way that you hit people.
All right, Todd said, "Never seen a player get knocked out with a shoulder hit preacher. It was helmet to helmet."
Thank you, Todd. Helmet to helmet is targeting, period. By the rules of the NCAA, it was targeting. So the fact that they did not call it is what shocked me, and not just me, but mostly everybody. They were even talking about it before the finals, where they were saying, I'm still shocked they didn't call the targeting against Ohio State and Georgia. So I'm not the only person saying it. These are professional football players and all kind of people. But anyway, I digress. It is what it is. Georgia won. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, dogs did what they had to do. And again, it was a epic event. I never would have thought it was 65-7. It did kind of seem like maybe what Tyron was talking about. Maybe they just ran out of gas. I don't know, but yeah, they just. It's funny because I thought initially we were going to have another shootout, because if you remember, Georgia got up 10-0. To TCU's credit, Georgia picked up a fumble, was deep in their territory. They stopped them, held them to a field goal. They came right down the field and did exactly. They attacked Georgia's weak spot, went deep on a big play, and I said, it's going to be on. I said, they saw the Ohio State film. It's going to be on and popping. They didn't sniff the Georgia side of the field for the rest of the game.
There's something else that I saw that, probably majority of the people watching didn't probably notice, but you got to give kudos to the coaching staff. Okay, the coaching staff. Usually in college football, you can kind of score, but they did not allow TCU to score. So not only does that tell me that their coaching staff did a hell of a job of breaking down TCU's offense, finding out what they do, and then where they're vulnerable on defense, and then put the players in position to take advantage. So, you got to give shouts out to Kirby Smart and his coaching staff. And I wouldn't be surprised if some other college start trying to pull from Kirby Smart's coaching staff to try to build their program. So that's something that I saw as a player, because we take pride. If we got somebody beat down, we don't want them to score. And that's what the Bulldogs did, man. They did not let them boys score. And again, I think the intangible, their coaching staff, got to give them great shout outs, man. They put the players in position to put them points on the board.
And speaking of putting some points up, Todd said he wants some money. I guess he was betting the over-under, and he got himself a little pocket change. Yeah, I mean, listen, what Kirby has shown, that between his own temperament, his own skill sets, and what he learned from Nick Saban, he is now going to be in that short list of the ultimate motivators, because they actually leaked. Monica, I don't know if you heard it, but they leaked some of his pregame speech. They had to, kind of bleep out a lot of it. But, he said it. We're going to go hunting tonight, boys.
Oh, yeah. They were on a mission. They claimed that.
Yeah, and really, I saw, Tyrone, you played, especially on defense. It just seemed like that the energy and the way they went about their business was unlike what I had seen in some other games. They seem to be determined, like you said, to not let up the big play, to not let the running attack get started, because, that was the other thing. TCU ran the ball for over 250 yards against Michigan, one of the best running defenses in the country, and they got no traction. So, whatever he said to that defense, they came out and said, y'all not doing anything, except for that first drive. After that, they were like, nope, and nope. So,
well, that's a saying in the locker room. that we tell each other, if we got the foot on your throat, you're going to take it off. Don't take it off. Choke them. If you got the foot on the throat, keep it on their throat. And again, that's what I like, what I saw about Georgia. The players at some point with maybe 8 minutes left in the game, the game is over. They could have relaxed, but see, that just tells me the identity that Kirby is telling his players in that locker room. I don't care if we got them 65-7. It's still 0-0. You play like it's 0-0. You got your foot on their throat, put more pressure on the throat. Don't let up. Don't let up. So that's what you want. That's the atmosphere. That's the attitude that you want. That's that dog attitude that Dion talking about. All right. I seen it. I know what that thing smelled like, boy. So that's what Georgia had. They don't wear cologne. That was confidence that people were smelling.
That's what Dion says. It's like a cologne.
I love what Coach was saying going into halftime. They were up by a lot, but he still was not satisfied. And he was like, yeah, we have to come out. And I love that because like Tyrone was saying, you come out even harder in the second half. And we know that Georgia wins fourth quarters and they don't do that for any reason. So they came out and it was like, yeah, we're up, but guess what? We still have more work to do. And they came out and they weren't satisfied until the clock was close to striking zero.
I heard someone talk about, I'm going to do a bit of joke. I hope you come back to it, but they was trying to say that Stetson Bennett is more popular at Georgia than Herschel Walker. Now,
hold that point right there. Hold that point. Don't go nowhere because that's the thing I want to talk about. Stetson Bennett and his play and what kind of been behind that. All right, guys, keep it locked right here for more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
What up, folks? We are back in the building. I have technically two queens here. I have our own queen, Miss Tree Dolman, and former University of Georgia beauty queen and track star, Miss Monica Cabler, and the champion, Tyrone Poole, all in the building. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about here with Georgia and how they kind of, Mr. Stetson Bennett, you guys that's what he should have been wearing the other night because that guy balled out. No doubt about it. Tyrone, what do you think? Do you think that he got some extra motivation? I know you talk a lot about, man, how players think in the locker room. To me, I think that all of his playoff, those two games, the fact that when he went to the Heisman, all the guys kept asking him, hey, what do you think? How come Hooker's not here? And basically kind of make it seem like he didn't deserve to be there. I think he more so than any other player, he said, I'm going to show you guys why the Heisman voters picked me to come out here. Because this guy was MVP of both the games. He passed for over 300 yards. And some of the passes that he threw against TCU were just laser darts.
Well, first and foremost, I think he's always had that chip on his shoulder. I don't think it was just the fact of the Heisman and all of that stuff. It's just like confidence. I just mentioned the word confidence. Confidence is not something that you just put on. It's something that you keep on. You keep it on. You never take it off. So I think, he's had that attitude or that demeanor from the time, he first stepped on the field. And, he just had an opportunity to showcase that confidence on the world's biggest stage where everybody's watching. So I don't think he just turned it on just for that game. Again, I don't believe you can just turn it on and turn it off. You have to wear confidence. You have to wear productivity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. So you don't just turn it on and turn it off. So I just think it's something that Stetson Bennett, that's just him. I'm pretty sure if you go ask his parents, they're going to have probably the same story. He was like this when he was little. He was competitive. So he just happened to allow that confidence and productivity to show on a big stage. And that's what you want.
So what do you think? Just that confidence, no extra juice from the Heisman?
You said me?
Yeah. You think he had any extra juice? You just think, hey, look, he's always been that way, chip on the shoulder guy, having to kind of, leave school and then for a little bit, and then came back, and everybody took into all these other guys in front of him. I think that's just, hey, look, man, that's how I roll.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. He had a tough road that a lot of people would have given up on. I love his story because it just shows that when you believe in yourself and you work hard and you don't give up, your dreams can come true. Look at all that he's accomplished, all because he believed in himself, all because he took a chance and left, went to a JUCO, won a championship, came back, and now he's won 2 national championships with the University of Georgia. He's going down in the record books as one of the best quarterbacks to play at Georgia for so many reasons. And I think, like Tyrone said, it's his confidence, but he has that confidence because of how much hard work that he has put in, because he did not listen to even the coaching staff that was at the University of Georgia and probably his friends and some family members. He believed in himself. And that is the reason that he works so hard, and he has the confidence because he knows that he can do it. And he's shown over and over again that he can.
Michael, what do you think? I mean, because for a while there, it seemed like there was some kind of like pushback at Georgia. Everybody was talking about JT Daniels, these other guys. I mean, when did you start hearing, amongst the alumni that, hey, this guy might be the guy that we need?
Man, I think all along, even Georgia alum Matthew Stafford, Rams star QB, he was even giving him props afterwards, talking like, he was shooting a loaded gun into the end zone every single play. So it's much respect among alums for him, and it has been all along.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers, like you said, again, he has been a primetime player. If you look at the last 3 games, obviously they're all championship caliber games. 23 of 29, 274, 4 touchdowns, 50-31, 51-30 victory over LSU in the SEC championship. And then against the Ohio State Buckeyes, let me give you a little bit more, fellas. 23 of 34, 398, 3 touchdowns, and bringing Georgia back from a 2-touchdown deficit. And then to put the little icing on the cake in the championship game, he said, I'm going to be like Joe Burrows, matching Joe Burrows, putting up 6 touchdowns he accounted for. 18 of 30, 25 from the 18 of 25, 304 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and 2 nice, nifty running touchdowns. So a total of 6 touchdowns from Stetson Bennett, a guy that early in the game, early in the game of his time at Georgia, people were thinking we might need another guy, or he's only a game manager. Well, you don't put up over almost 1,000 yards in passing and lead your team to 2 college football playoff games where they amassed almost 1,000 yards in offense. Yeah, definitely Stetson Bennett is going to be a guy. So let me ask you guys a question, because this was something that was asked earlier on Stetson Bennett. The question was from Mr. Football. He was actually throwing at Tyrone. He says, do you think that Stetson Bennett is an NFL quarterback? Do you think he can make it in the NFL from what you've seen?
Well, first and foremost, I look at the stature, and if you don't have the stature, the offensive linemen are tall. That's the one thing that makes the NFL football, what it is. Those offensive linemen are tall, and we've seen quarterbacks that don't have the height. Now you got to create throwing lanes. You got to throw between the guys. I don't know what his weight is. I think he's like maybe 190 something. And I heard somebody mention him, compare him to Joe Montana. Joe Montana was like 6'2". He was a little over 200 pounds. So I'm like, unless Stetson Bennett has tremendous feet like a Kyler Murray. I heard somebody mention Doug Flutie today, but Doug had a versatility. Doug could really scramble and get away from that pressure. Now, when you get into the pros, unlike college, you got 53 guys on that roster who on any given day could be a beast, okay? In college, you may have on a given Sunday, you may have about maybe 4 maybe 3-4 guys on defense that are dogs. But in the NFL, you got 11 guys on defense that can wreak havoc. So does he have the mindset? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think, he's a winner. He's a winner. But I think when you go to the NFL level, man, it's, some of them blindside hits, even though they, really letting the quarterbacks wear skirts these days. But sometimes them hits, man, them things hurt, man. They hurt. So, but I hope he gets an opportunity to go into somebody's camp, because just his courage to win, kind of like a Tim Tebow. He has that confidence to win. So that alone will get you into somebody's camp.
Let's see what else we're saying on social media here. Todd says, was it me or did the TCU quarterback look like a scared little kitten? I knew it was over after the first drive. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all I saw was the first drive. I thought like we were going to have a shootout because they really got the ball down the field, attacked Georgia. Everybody else did with a deep ball. But after that, man, it was like, good night, Irene. They couldn't do anything. So I don't know if it was scared. All I know is they were got kind of hit. And I'm going to look this up here and see what Bennett's height and weight is. So we see this here. Todd is telling me something that's not, I know it's not right. He's saying Bennett is 5'8", 180. And bro, I don't know what kind of drug you were taking the other night, but he ain't that.
I think he's 5'11", 190, and sometimes they're generous, with their weight. Sometimes they're generous, a little bit with their height. But you probably say around 6 foot, maybe. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, the offensive linemen, those dudes are big, man. They're tall. If you can't throw over them, then you got to create offenses just like the RPO. Maybe he can work well in the RPO offense, where you got to get him on the edge like they do with Kyler Murray. Get him on the edge and let him throw between. That's the same way they did with Doug Flutie. Get him and let him throw between the offensive linemen. But there comes a time, if you're going to win a championship, you have to drop back, stand up tall, and be able to deliver that ball over that offensive line.
All right, last question here. We'll go around the panel and we'll take a quick break as we shift to the NFL. He said, Tyrone, would you take Bennett over current Falcons quarterback Desmond Ridder?
Well, if I'm going off experience, I'm going to take Ridder, because I still think, I know we're going to get into that, and I'll be very quick with my answer here. I still think the Falcons are not allowing Desmond Ridder to be who he is. I still think he's playing in the shadows of the offense that they created for Marcus Mariota. And they only gave Ridder maybe two and a half games to try to show, kind of like Jay-Z, show me what you got. Come on, man, I can't show you what I got in 2 games. So, again, I think, like you said, Jonathan, they should have given the keys to Desmond Ridder early so they can have an opportunity to see if this guy is the guy that's going to drive this offense.
Monica, you've been around a lot of pro players, especially coming out of UGA. Do you think Bennett could be a legitimate NFL QB?
I definitely do. And I think he's in a rhythm now. It's like he and his targets, they were just in sync. You can tell that he put in the work, the reps, and they were all prepared. So I think it's an easy transition into the NFL once he's trained by them and he gets hit for the first time by them. He'll get those wake-up calls, but he'll definitely be prepared from this.
Monica, what do you Tree, what do you think? Think this guy can make it in the NFL?
I do, because it takes a couple of things. 1, talent. 2, I think what a lot of people don't realize is the hard work and the determination. It's the hard work that a lot of players put in outside of the many practice hours. And like Tyrone always talks about, learning the playbooks and things to be successful. And I just think from his story that he's one of those players that puts in a lot of time to get better. And so as long as he continues to do that, because we know college and the NFL is a big jump up and it's not easy to do, but with determination and hard work, I definitely think that he's capable to do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody, there's something about being a winner. And I know, like you said, again, the only problem is when you are a top draft point, but I don't think he'd be a first rounder necessarily. Sometimes you get with a bad team and all of a sudden you have to transition. But at the end of the day, in the right system, I think he could be a serviceable quarterback. And I think that we may find this out sooner rather than later. So, there's the music. All right. Back on more the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you, and thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
All right, guys, we're back here at the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. We have Ms. Monica Kabler, a UGA alum. We have the champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole. We have the queen, Ms. Tree Dolman. And as we get ready to shift over to NFL football, we're going to talk the NFL and the Falcons as we wind up the last 30 minutes. You know how we do. We bring in experts all the time. This gentleman is the embedded beat writer for AJC Sports for the Falcons. He's also an award-winning beat writer, and recently won another award as the state of Georgia's best sports writer. And he's Esquire par excellence, the one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is in the building. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, D-Land. I didn't know that.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, the news came out yesterday from the National Sports Media Association that I was a Georgia Sports Writer of the Year for 2022.
Praise the Lord. Hey, the man. Yeah, man. So congratulations, bro. That's really a huge honor. We already knew what time it was, but I'm glad they figured that out as well. We got a quick question here for you, Miss Kabler. Todd is asking, in your training, he's asking about a Sam Bowers. So I'm not familiar with who that is. Do you know who Sam Bowers is, and is he any good?
Good question. I'm not for sure. I have to do some background on my own too.
There we go. All right, no worries. So Todd, we'll do some back checking for you, and we will find out. All right, before we talk Falcons here, we got a real interesting slate, everybody, of some really interesting games to open up the NFL playoffs. Let's take a peek here in the NFC and then a quick look in the AFC, and then we'll close out with our Atlanta Falcons. So in the NFC, we got one of Tree's favorites, the Vikings and the Giants squaring off. We also have Dallas on the road heading to Tampa Bay. All right, so just quick around the panel. Give me some picks for those two games. D-Led, Giants, Vikings. Who you like?
Minnesota. I don't trust Kirk Cousins to get him all the way there, but he should be okay in the first round against the Giants.
And Tampa Bay, Dallas.
I'm going with Dallas. I've been hearing all day about Dallas and grass and so forth. But I talked to Calvin Watkins down in Dallas today, and he's going with the Cowboys. Also, just too much. Tampa Bay just can't flip the switch on, even though they do have Tom Brady.
Monica, Vikings and Giants. Who you like?
Giants.
Ooh, picking the New Yorkers. How about the other game, Tampa Bay against Dallas?
Ooh, I'm going to get beat over the head for this, but Dallas.
You got two Dallas so far. All right, Tyrone Poole, who you like, Vikings or the Giants?
You know what? If Barkley can get going, could keep it close and allow the Giants to sneak one out. I do believe in order to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to run the ball. And when you get to the Super Bowl, you got to be able to have a balanced game, run and throw. So I'm leaning towards the Giants, but I think Minnesota end up pulling it out.
How about Dallas and Tampa Bay? Think your boy Tom Brady's got one more in him?
Well, no, I think Dan Quinn has too much on defense, and he's going to do a lot of things to put pressure on Tom. And I think the Cowboys' defense is going to show up and Dan Quinn getting ready to probably go and be another head coach somewhere. So I'm pretty sure he wants to make a good showman because he's going to be interviewed by some of these owners. So I think he's going to have that Cowboy defense ready to rock and roll.
Oh, no doubt. All right, Tree. Vikings, Giants. I already know, but go ahead.
So I already know Vikings, and not just because that's my team, but I'm going with the Vikings. I think that they are going to win this game and skull Vikings.
Tampa Bay and Dallas.
Tampa Bay. I'm never going against Tom Brady. He's shown over and over again that you never want to bet against him. I know this has been a very, very, very rough year, but I think the fact that he's just excited to be in the playoffs, I think he's going to motivate the team. Hopefully they can get some players healthy and get out there and play some great defense and run the ball and run great routes. So I'm going for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going for the Vikings. I just think that they are a very balanced team. I don't know what Kirk Cousins might do later on as well, but definitely right now they are good on offense, good on defense, and I think they're going to take care of the Giants. As far as Dallas and Tampa Bay, I think that Mr. Brady's run is going to end right here as far as his playoff excellence. I think Dan Quinn's going to wants to prove that that when he has the horses, he can put up a defense against anybody. And I think he owes Tom because they, as you know, they let one get away, actually two get away against Tom when he was with Seattle and with the Falcons. I think he's had enough of that. So look for Dallas and the Vikings to take care of it. All right, let's go to social media here. Our man Todd, he says, D-Led, with the Falcons hire in-house for P's replacement, let's be honest, defense has been near last small stats, which I think you got a little comeback on that, D-Led. What do you think? They're going to pick someone from the staff or go outside to replace Dean Pease?
He's got options. He said a wide search. We'll talk to Coach tomorrow. Couple names to look. In-house is Frank Bush, but Frank might just want to be a linebackers coach and carry on in that role. Jerry Gray up in Green Bay is a possibility. And Deshae Townsend was the name I heard today when I was making my calls. He's the coach down in Jacksonville, the defensive passing game coordinator down in Jacksonville. So it's going to be somebody that Arthur Smith knows from his past, and those guys have all spent time with him in Tennessee. And then Coach Bush took over the reins here, when Coach Pease was injured in the Saints game. So those are three names I've heard so far.
Yeah, speaking of Coach Pease, he was on 92.9 today doing his exit interview, and he let everybody know. He said, okay, y'all are killing me. He said, but the last 9 games, he said, statistically, we were a top 10 defense. He said, leave me alone. So.
Yeah. You don't get to – sorry, Coach. The other games counted too. So,
right.
Yeah, you can't just throw 8 games out and say, oh, I'm just going to pick the 8 games we played good in. So, I'm sorry. He can do that to placate himself. But that's not allowed here in football accounting.
None of that. All right, panel. Questions for Mr. D-Led. Tyrone Poole, you first, sir.
No, all the things I have are just, hey, the Falcon season is over, man. And, let them guys go and, they're going to unwind. And, I'm pretty sure after the last meeting as a team, the guys said their goodbyes and, guys gonna go on vacation and go hang out and get rid of this 2022 season and come back and OTAs and start going at it again. And hopefully Desmond Ritter will have an opportunity to solidify himself as that could possibly lead this team. So you never know. Just like Tree said earlier, the coaching. The guy got the talent his way to the NFL. Can the coaches bring that talent out of him?
Well, Todd accuses Pease of being a grumpy old man. We don't know about that. Okay, Todd, speaking of that, I want to get you to answer your question. Monica said that Sam Bowers is definitely the cream of the crop. Broke a lot of records at UGA in the 1,500 meter and so forth. Surely one to watch. And now we're going to go to Sullivan. Because anytime you want to build a great team or anything, you have to get the tools to build it and make it real. And he said any team can do it. So be confident in the Falcons. All right, Ms. Kabler, any questions or comments for D. Orlando Ledbetter?
Just huge praises. We're all in your corner, 100%.
Well,
no doubt.
thank you very much, Miss Monica.
Yes.
And B-Led spent some of his time training some of the young UGA students. I saw him out one time. He had them in mass. He seemed like he had about 100 of them. It was less than that, but somebody had. It's like the Pied Piper. D-Led was walking. They all followed behind him, eyes big. So,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we started class on Monday, and they had an assignment to advance the championship game. I couldn't go once Dean Pease retired, but I'll be in class in Athens tomorrow, 2 to 3:15 to see my new class for the spring 23 semester here. Yeah, I've been there since 2015. Was at Clark Atlanta from 06 to 16. So I got some students from Clark Atlanta out doing their thing also.
Nice.
that's what I'm talking about. Ms. Dolman, any questions or comments for D. Orlando Ledbetter?
Yes, I have a question. You already know where I'm going, D-Led. What do you think about my Detroit Lions and the way that we finished our season against the Green Bay Packers?
Oh, that was an awesome display. I follow them because my uncle, that's who I play against in Madden all the time, my uncle, and it's always the Lions and the Browns. So I know all the players' names from Khalif Raymond all the way down to Swift, and Jamal Williams. Jamal did a great job. They did a great job of fixing that defense. I was happy for Aaron Glenn because midway through the season, it was looking pretty bleak over there. But that team, from what you want to see is your beginning and your end, and if the team got over the course of the year, and they certainly did, and you can attribute that to coaching. I think they turned the corner, and they'll be legitimate contenders in the NFC North next year.
Yes, I love that Coach Campbell, when we found out that Seattle lost, which broke my heart, but I love that he said either we're going or they're not going. And I love that mentality because hey, okay, our chances of going are over because Seattle won, but we're going to make sure that the Green Bay Packers don't go. And so everybody was saying, oh, they don't have anything to play for, but we did. We had a lot to play for. We were playing for a winning record, and we were playing to make sure that Green Bay did not go to the playoffs. And we finished our season with a better record than them, and I love that.
Yep, good job there by Coach. Anybody that saw them in Hard Knocks saw that he's hardcore and actually had his boys hitting. And he's like, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but we got to hit. And so a lot of teams need to do that because you see how bad the play is early on in the season. And we saw old Falcon John Comiskey out there taking somebody's head off. So that was good to see him still playing, and at least things working out for him. So yeah, good job by Coach Campbell and the Detroit Football Lions.
Woo woo.
I gotta pull Tree's a chain real quick. I said Jacksonville will win more games than Detroit.
You did, and so you lost.
Jacksonville won 9 games. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, they won the AFC South.
That's right. They finished 9-8 too.
And won the AFC South.
No. Okay, so technically, because you said it, Todd said it, and Jonathan said it, that you guys thought they would have a better record. So they didn't. We finished with a tie.
Oh, there we go.
So you guys were right, and I was right in a sense. And yay, I saw somebody put congrats to Detroit. Go Detroit.
I'm going to tell you about that. Was Sullivan. Let me put that back up, and then we're going to get the congrats again for D-Led. Okay, Sullivan said, hey, great for Detroit. Good job there.
Yeah.
And,
One
and then
pride.
Todd gave some kudos to D-Led. He said, congrats. Remember us little people when you make the Falcons Ring of Honor. Now, I don't know if they give it to media people, but D-Led might be the first. He might be the first. This might be the first guy from the media. Well, Sullivan, he says that I'm gonna go back to one of his comments. He talked about how he's made his restaurant. Well, brother, where you at? You got talked about a restaurant. You around Atlanta? Maybe we can come on there and get something to eat. Say hello. We like to kind of do that. And he says the Falcons will be fine. And he wants to know from the panel, what does everyone think we need from the O-line and the D-line? So I'm going to leave D-Led for last. Tyrone, what do you think? Well, actually, Tree, since we left with you, what do you think? You think They need more O-line help, D-line help, and if so, should it be a pass rush like everybody's saying, or should they have a big old beefy guy maybe to help Grady?
They need people that has that dog in them. The people that's just, yeah, they need what you can't teach. They need somebody that has the because we know that the O-line and the D-line they're a very important part of the game. And if you don't have that, you're struggling. You have to protect the quarterback, and you have to be able to go and make havoc for the other team's offense to help your team with defense and making great plays. So I think that we definitely need both.
Someone says we need a big guy, whatever we do. Tyrone, what do you think we need on that O-line and D-line, especially on the D-line? You want an edge rusher, or do you want some beef?
Well, I play defense, so I'm gonna let somebody else tackle offense. But
all right, we'll come back.
Definitely on defense.
There he is. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Definitely on defense. I play defense, so I'm stay on the defensive side, and somebody else can answer the offense. But
okay.
You need a D-line. You need a D-line. The D-line makes it easier for everybody. Trust me. I've been in situations where we didn't have to cover long because we knew Richard Seymour, they're going to get that quarterback. We don't sit on routes, Jack, because that quarterback trying to get rid of it. So, I think from a defensive standpoint, they need somebody that can rush that passer. Because if you look at the sacks, I don't think the Falcons have anybody within the top, 10 or whatever that was, putting pressure on that quarterback like that. So definitely, I think you got to find somebody that can put pressure, edge rusher. They need somebody who can push it up the middle to keep that quarterback from stepping up in the pocket. So me, D-line is more important to me.
See, Tyrone Greedy, he want both. He want the beef and the edge rusher. He want them both. All right, Monica, what would you like to see the Falcons do? You want them to concentrate on the O-line, maybe get another guy to match their new All-Pro Chris Lindstrom, or do you think they should get some beef to help Grady or get some speed off the edge?
No, I agree with Tyrone. I mean, if they just slow down all plays, if the D-line was tight, they wouldn't have to worry about a lot of trouble they're in right now. But yeah, that would be my hit. So.
Yeah, me personally, I want to see edge rusher. I mean, bottom line, the NFL today, you need a guy that can get that quarterback on the ground. I don't care what these coaches talking about, pressure and all that kind of nonsense. You need a guy. You need a guy that's a game changer. You need a guy that can come off the edge and bring some pressure and put some fear into that other team and maybe change their game plan. That's what I want. I want to see a Von Miller type. I want to see. Listen, I'd even be happy to see what we saw for 1 year. For 1 year of the one pass rusher we've drafted in the last few years. I'd like to even see that. Give me 15, 16 sacks. I don't care if they're 4 or 5 in one game. I don't care about any of that. I'd like to see that. Who's talking?
If I had a choice between an edge rusher and a tackle, I'm going with that big dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with that big dude. Because that big dude, if I can get him to command 2 blockers, then I can put anybody out there on the edge as long as they got some speed. But that dude, Aaron Donald, give me an Aaron Donald. I'll build my defense around Aaron Donald. Because I'm like, that dude that commands 2 blocks every time. So that means that they only got 3 other guys that could be blocking. And now it makes it easy for me as a defensive coordinator to scheme up some stuff. So give me that guy down in the trenches over that edge player.
There you go. All right, Todd, he's asking you, D-Led, do you have an interview set up with Marcus for the AJC? Because I'm sure everybody likes to hear why we actually kind of tapped out. Because that was a surprise. I mean, Marcus seemed to be a stand-up guy up until that point.
Yeah, it's pretty low priority for us now. He quit on us, and we're going to quit on him.
Oh, I like that. He said we ain't got no time for that amateur. There we go. All right. Sullivan is saying, do we have the money to get 2 people? I guess he's talking about free agency. Where do you think the Falcons are going to spend their money, D-Led?
Yeah, they got, I got some market value. It's going to be on the D-line. The offensive line issue is pass blocking at right tackle if they do go back to 5 and 7-step drops at all, and they got to solidify the left guard spot. They have 4 people in there this year. But free agency-wise, they're going to go after defensive linemen. Deron Payne's the big one. That could come available. veteran quarterback, looking at Tannehill, and if he comes available. But yeah, they are of the thought that they're not looking for edge rushers; they're looking for middle defensive tackles that, like Tyrone said, can command double teams and push the pile. So I wouldn't worry about the draft right now, because I go over it in my podcast. How the calendar year shakes out. The free agency comes first. So in March, we'll know what they do in free agency, and that's going to tell us where they're going in the draft in April.
Well, everybody besides me thinks that, yeah, they need some help for big man Grady. And Sullivan is saying, I guess the Falcons got about an extra $74 million of cash available. So we're going to see how they're going to attack this. The quarterback thing, man, me personally, you know me, I've been a Ritter fan from day one. I think the guy is a winner. I think the guy doesn't get too squarky out under pressure. And he doesn't really turn the ball over. I mean, normally up to this point, at least I've seen, he's been good on ball protection. He ended on the best way he could. I know he's playing against second stringers for most of the second half of the game, but let's get his stats. 19 of 30, 224 yards, and his first 2 touchdown passes. And clearly, he showed what we kind of knew anyway. He has a great chemistry with Drake London. Drake, 6 receptions, 120 yards, and it seemed like he was looking for him all the time. And it seemed like there's huge synergy between those 2 guys that can only grow from here. Yes, I think Desmond is the real thing.
Well, the thing is can they make him better? Tyrone has alluded to the coaching, and we've seen what Philadelphia has done in 3 seasons with Jalen Hurts. Same issues coming out Ritter had as Jalen. Accuracy, and can he read the defenses and get the ball out? So, his numbers compared to Jalen's rookie year is about the same. Next year, there was some progress by Jalen, and then this is his 3rd year when he really kind of figured it out. So next year, we want to see some, they got to build around it. This quarterback isn't, you can't say, hey, is this quarterback going to take us to the Super Bowl? You can't answer that, hey, is he going to make them great? No, it's going to have to be the sum of all the parts. They got to build a team around him with a lot of weapons, and then, let him operate the weapons. So that's where they're at. They got a running game and a wide receiver and a tight end. And I like to see the tight end and the wide receiver get in the end zone more. But they could run the ball, and they got a tight end and a receiver, and they got a quarterback that is going to have to be developed into a distributor.
I had this about Ritter. If I'm a coach, if I'm his quarterback coach, or if I'm the offensive coordinator, we all know he got the confidence. I think, we've all alluded to how he won in Cincinnati, his attitude. That's what everybody loved about him, right? So if I'm his coach, I'm going to allow him to go out there and make mistakes, almost like a Brett Favre. I'm going to let him go out there and throw some interceptions, because I know playing that position of quarterback, not saying that we want him to throw interceptions now, but what made Brett so good, man, Brett just felt like he could wheel that ball in there. And see, that's when you turn an average quarterback into a great quarterback. That's why what's the difference between Tom and everybody else? His fire, man. He just feel like I can mess up one time and I'm going to come back and beat you 5 times. All great quarterbacks have that mentality. So that's one thing if I'm the coaching staff, I could talk to the coaching staff from my experience, I would say let the dude go out there and get off his shoulder. Don't look over his shoulder. Let him develop that confidence. If you can let him discover who he really is, that's when you get a superstar quarterback. The coaching is good, but man, it's right here. That thing that sits 6 inches between your ears. That's where greatness is found.
Well, there's something else. Go to social media here. He said Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to fail to succeed. I'm not sure. Fail to succeed. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I don't know, D-Led. I mean, like I said, I liked him. I like his attitude. I liked it from the first time he walked into camp. Confidence had been all over the place, all over him. He seemed to want to grasp the leadership job, and the fact that he already has synergy with Drake London is, to me, that's going to pay huge dividends. And talk to me a little bit, D-Led, about this guy, McCole Pruitt, the other tight end. What do you have, like 5 or 6 TD receptions this year? Talk to me about him.
Yeah, 4. He's a veteran, has been sticking around out of Kirkwood, Missouri. Went to SIU, Salukis. one of the 1AA powers or FCS or whatever we call them now. But he was drafted by the Vikings and spent some time in Tennessee. And, he's a little bit older, I think 30, but pass catching tight end who, stepped up in the role that Kyle Pitts would have been playing. So, they'll probably bring him back, but, he's more insurance type thing if something goes wrong.
Well, he looked good. I mean, like I said, he seems like he got decent hands. And he's been making plays. I mean, 5 touchdowns. That's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's. I mean, again, what's his name was a rookie, but that's more than than Kyle has. So anyway, man, yeah, I just think this team, the fact that they can run the ball as well as they do, if they're continuing to do that, yeah, you just got to put the rest of the pieces around them, and that's it. We got a sign off from Miss Kabler. She said she loves us all.
Hmm.
So glad you joined us, Monica. Come
That's
back.
right. Always feel the love. All right, one last question here for D-Led from Mr. Todd. He said, will Kyle Pitts be ready in the springtime?
I'll have to go back and look on the injury and the grade. I think it was grade 2. I did do a story on that, and I think the timetable was in there.
Okay. So we should have him back, and Mark said group hugs. We love you, girl. We love you, darn it.
Yes, we do.
Yes, I mean.
Well, I want to.
Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say something quickly. So, Jonathan, you thought that the Falcons would go 10-7.
Dang, I thought it was escape. I thought I was going to escape.
No, you're not escaping. But I'm actually giving you a shout out, you and D-Led, because I believe that it was D-Led that actually picked where he said that the best that he thought they could do was 7-10. And so that's where the Falcons went. The opposite of what you thought. So instead of 10-7, they went 7-10. And like you said, they finished on a great note. So they actually played a lot better than I thought I was going to see them play. So I just want to give a shout out to you, Jonathan, because we know you definitely believed in the Falcons and you were rooting for them to go 10-7 the entire season.
Right.
You never wavered.
All right, put up the rest of your placards, please, ma'am. Put them up.
Bradley, my Detroit Lions. Woo!
What?
One tie. We finished with a positive record, 9-8. I am so excited. I'm crushed that we're not going to the playoffs, but we can't blame anybody but ourselves. All we had to do was win the game against the North Carolina Panthers, and we lost. And so then we took it out of our hands and put it in other people's hands. And even though we won out, Seattle won, so we're not going. But guess who is going? My Vikings! Go Vikings! Finished the season with a record of 13-4 for regular season. And I am so excited about our Vikings and wanting them to go super far in the playoffs and hopefully play for a Super Bowl championship.
Look, not too shabby. I mean, the Lions went 6-2 over their last 8 games, so you couldn't ask for anything better than that. They were one of the best teams in the league. And I'll close out this question. Do you think that the Lions are going to – that game has sent Mr. Rodgers into retirement? What do you think, Tyrone? You think Rodgers is going to hang him up?
No. You know what? That guy, he's too much of a competitor. And I understand when you're in a situation where you're frustrated, sometimes you say stuff, but he's a competitor. He's been around winning too much. It's in his DNA. I think if they go and find some wide receivers, give back to him the offense and the players that he's used to, then it's going to put that fire back in him. And I think people start saying, whoa, that's the old Aaron Rodgers that we all remember. So I think he's going through one of them situations just like any relationship. He's on the, got the sad face on right now, but give him some players, give him a running game. He still can throw the ball.
No doubt. We want to do this before we get everything wrapped up and let everybody know how you can find out more about our guests. One thing I wanted to do early in the
Super
segment.
Bowl picks. We got to get Super Bowl picks, not the playoff bodies. We got to get Super Bowl picks.
No, oh, hang on.
Can't do it.
We'll do that next week. We'll put your picks in. I want to give a quick shout out really quickly to all the guys that made the high school all-star team this year from every class. Some of these guys we got a chance to meet in person, like Caden Lee, the big guys from Langston Hughes. Big shout out to all you guys. And of course, a big shout out to Langston Hughes for winning the state championship at the 6A level. So big shout out to you guys playing high school football. Oh, and one last thing. Big shout out to Coach, our good buddy, Coach Timothy Floyd, who got at the Peace Bowl prayer breakfast. He and another coach got an award for being coaches of the year through the FCA. So again, big shout out to everybody in high school football. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. But you know how we do it. We want you guys to follow and find out how you can follow everyone, social media and website. So, D. Orlando Ledbetter.
Yes.
The floor is yours.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC, Instagram DOrlandoLed, and everything else, all the articles, the Bowtie Chronicles and the Cover 9 at 9. Blog will be on AJC.com at 8 a.m. in the morning, Wednesday, and every Wednesday at 9 a.m. the Cover 9 at 9 blog on AJC.com. Thanks for having me, Reverend.
You know what to do. Indeed. All right, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Well, I'm telling you what, I'm going with the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. If you want to argue with me about it, just go to Tyrone Poole 38, all social media, TyronePoole38.com. Go Niners. Go Kyle Shanahan. Mike Shanahan.
So you ain't slick, Tyrone. You want to make sure he's on the record early. Tyrone said, no, y'all can't say.
To do it next week because there going to be some teams that going to lose this week.
Right? Tyrone said, I'll make sure I'm on the record right now. Okay, so before we do that, Tree, who's your pick, Super Bowl, right now? Your two contenders.
Vikings. I don't know. I wasn't
Vikings, and who do you think will be placing? The Bills, the KC? Who do you think?
I'm just going to say Buffalo Bills. I don't know.
All right. So I guess I got to pick somebody now. So I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills are going to go back. All right, one last thing before we go. Sullivan said his spot is Village Burger in Cumming, Georgia. We have to go way up north to see you.
Village Burger. Okay.
Village Burger. Who knows? This might be one of our future sponsors. You never know, guys. All right. We can get back to the business of letting people know how they can find out more about you. So, the Queen, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13 and Ms. America International 2022.
Praise the Lord. We got it right this time.
Yay.
All right, buddy. You know me. You can follow me anywhere on social media, but please also follow the show. Here we are right here. Check us out. Bam. We'll Talk Sports at number 7, or follow me personally at Minister J Sim, and that's Minister the letter J, SIMM. And yes, I am a real live minister. I didn't get it from the internet or from a cereal box. I'm a real licensed minister. And speaking of that, I want to encourage you guys as we wrap up here and go into a new year. You get to know the Lord. That's very, very important. Get to know Him through His Son, Jesus Christ. That's the only way by which you can really have a life well lived here on the earth and guarantee an entry into the kingdom of heaven when you leave. All right, guys. Until the next time, when we're back at you again, we say God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long.
Bye.